Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie Man, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 179. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? Honestly, I thought this week's chapter was great because it once again established the dynamic between Asa and Yoru, and just the whole conflict that's going on with the two of them. You know, whether it's Asa trying to protect Denji and, Yoru trying to use Chainsaw Man for her own gain to make him into a weapon, which is something that comes to pretty much straight ahead in this week's chapter. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts off where we see pretty much the continuation of last week, which was, the Agent Devil bumping into Denji slash Pochita, and we saw that Pochita was pretty much demolished, and this week's chapter pretty much carries that because we see that Pochita, my man, is still knocked out. And the funny part was, remember last time the Agent Devil was trying to give Pochita some blood, and we all thought, oh, what, he's trying to heal him and all that, but Pochita was like, nah, and he started ramping his cord once again, the Chainsaw Man cord, and he started, wrecking it up, and eventually, he pulls up the sign of the blood donation. Is like, blood, and I'm just like, oh my god, my man is gone. And even the Agent Devil's like, oh, I guess you have no, you're empty-headed, aren't you? And it's so funny seeing the look in his face, like, of disappointment. It was just hilarious. Like, I love that scene. And eventually the Agent Devil's just kind of like, whatever. And cutting from that, then we see where most of the chapter takes place, which is once again in Asa and Yoru's point of view. And we see that pretty much Yoru is very upset. She's like, oh, that Agent Devil is trying to take my kill. How dare he? And we see he's like, oh, he survived. Oh man, I'm gonna go wreck the Chainsaw Man. And you see eventually Asa's like, hey, Yoru, don't you think you did enough? Like, cut it out. And we see Yoru just kind of take the initiative, like, no, I'm not even halfway done, dude. Like, I still got plenty to do. Remember, my plan is to separate Denji by using Chainsaw Man as a weapon for myself. Like, that's my goal. Like, and you see Asa pretty much, hit her with a real question, which is like, you really don't know what will happen, do you? And you see Yoru just give her a cold stare, just giving her like, yeah, I do think it will work. Because Asa starts questioning whether even it'll work, because I mean, think about it. If you take Pochita's out of Denji will hypothetically die because Pochita is Denji's heart. I think it's already been established as such. So if you were to separate the two of them, yeah, he will die. Like, I think Denji will definitely die, which is obviously something that Asa doesn't want to do because she genuinely cares about Denji. So we see that after that, there's like I said, still more tension between the two of them. There's a lot of friction between the two of them, and it pretty much comes head on where we see that Asa just telling Yoru like you already beat him. Like, isn't that good enough? Like, it's like, Yoru, like, you already beat him. Like, what's the deal, bro? Like, you what else is there to prove? You don't really have to annihilate Chainsaw Man. You beat him. And Yoru's like, no, I'm not gonna win until I take my weapon. Like, until I make him a weapon of mine, has not been settled whatsoever. So we do know that she doesn't want to kill him. She wants to utilize him as a weapon, which makes sense. I mean, she's the War Devil. She's always trying to get new weapons. Just look at the gun and the Tank Devil. I mean, they're doing some damage. Now imagine if she were to use Chainsaw Man as such weapon. And it also brings me back to in part originally when they were promoting part 2, there's a panel where you see Asa with a chainsaw. So I'm wondering now, yo, was that foreshadowing? Is that imagine just the fact that maybe later in the story there's a scene where you see that Yoru turns Denji's, or maybe he doesn't even turn Chainsaw Man into a weapon. What if they get defeated or he's getting wrecked and we see out of nowhere Yoru decapitate Denji's head and start using his head as a weapon? I think that'd be pretty tight. But what happens after that is, as Yoru is still like, no, I'm gonna do whatever I want, you can't stop me, Asa. You see Asa being like, take back over control. She's showing her dominance and takes back her body once again, and that really sets off Yoru. She's like, really, dude? Like, what, Asa? Are you really afraid of me? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, give me back my body. Which, first of all, Yoru is not your body. It's Asa. You're living rent-free, all right? So don't give me that. Secondly, we see this pretty much, it's a great moment for Asa, because she's like, I'm not gonna put up with this, dude. Like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm taking control. Like, and you see she's fighting back on Yoru. And eventually there's a scene where I knew what was gonna happen. You see Yoru, put her little sad face, like her pouty face, like sad face, and she's like, oh wow, Asa, you're really scared of me? Like, that really hurts, dude. And in the back of my mind, I kept thinking of SpongeBob with like the smallest, saddest violin. I'm like, dude, get out of here with that. I was just like, Asa, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Yoru's giving you the crocodile tears. She does not care whatsoever. All right, like you did not make her sad, bro. Like, come on now. Like, I don't know if anybody actually thought that, I knew it was a bait. I knew she was baiting Asa to give control back. And eventually, what does Asa do? Of course, the big softie that she is, she eventually, caves in and gives her body back once again to Yoru. And what Yoru proceeds to do is just hit up Denji with a bang. She just goes bang. And by the way, that panel was sick. I love it because you see Yoru, very like bloodlusted, like back in control. And I think Fujimoto's, listen, man, I think I'll go as far as to say, like, I think these bang panels with Yoru, like these specific ones, like last week where that was my thumbnail as well, and this one, hey man, I think they might be beating Makima's with her bang, even though the iconic one with the power and all that. But listen, they're up there on par when it comes to like an aesthetic choice, where the way that Fujimoto draws them. Like, I think they're epic. Like, I think I love the way that Yoru is hitting up with the bang. And yeah, because then what happens after that is pretty much she hits up Pochita / Denji with this huge bang, and it looks like a big explosion, like freaking Oppenheimer just blew. Okay, it's not that scale, but it's still like a big impact. And what happens is pretty much the Agent Devil sees all this going down, and Agent Devil's like, okay, you know what? Wow, War Devil, you really thought that was gonna work on me? Like, you must be joking. And you see the Agent Devil just stop the big blast that Yoru delivered to her, and she's just like not even like phased by it. She stops the attack, and it seems like she aged it because she is the Agent Devil, and she turns him into dust. And that's a pretty hack ability, I'm not gonna lie, like thinking about it, because everything will eventually tarnish. So when you turn something old enough to turn into dust, which is what presumably happened in this chapter, where Yoru fired a shot at her and she pretty much made it turn to dust. And we see a very ambiguous way for the chapter ends, where we see that the Agent Devil's like, you know what, let's, you War Devil and you Chainsaw Man, you guys are still not mature enough, so let's make you guys mature enough. So I'm wondering now, like, what is that supposed to mean? Is she gonna make them go back to their prime, like, because she can age them? So I'm wondering now, like, is she gonna make it like for any Hunter x Hunter fans, is it gonna be like a Gon situation where she gives them, like, she fast forwards in time for the two of them to become their strongest selves? Is this like a buff, like a permanent buff? Will it be a temporary buff? Whatever the case, I'm very curious to see, because now I can think to myself, is it gonna be the Gon where he's ready to fight Pito, and it's all the full potential of Gon in like his future? Whatever the case, I thought this chapter was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Once again, it's great seeing the dynamic between Asa and Yoru and their dichotomy, as well as seeing Asa, even when she tries to step up to Yoru, she's still very vulnerable with in her mental state, where she will be easily manipulated, which has always been the thread line in part 2 with their dynamic. She always thinks of them as a buddy situation between the two of them, and she might even consider Yoru a friend, when in reality she's not. Yoru's just been using her from the get-go, and it's very sad, because I hope that Asa eventually is able to be able to keep Yoru in check. Like, I don't know how exactly, but I would like it to be so Asa is actually in control, and she's not being possessed by Yoru anymore. But this Fujimoto we're talking about, so most likely Asa will die or something like that, just break all of our hearts. But yeah, I think Fujimoto definitely cooked, and I know there's a break next week, so we won't get a new chapter until 2 weeks from now. But hey, it's fine. Fujimoto, you cooked, so get your rest, man. You just relax and just keep making fire. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.